Okay, great.
Now, Toastmaster Beard, I am ready to record what you said you wanted me to record.
Okay, so I just want to get a list of who's doing what today. So Toastmaster of the day is me. Word Master is Dottie Hamilton. Table Topics Master, Karen Baird. Speaker 1, Bill Moylan. Speaker 2, Kimberly Baird. Evaluation 1 will be Felice. Evaluator 2 is Karen. Table Topics Evaluation is Kimberly. Counter is Bill. And those are all the assigned roles. Timer, Tiana, would you feel comfortable being the timer?
What does the timer do? Do I just keep time of the actual
Just keep
speech?
track. You just for each one of these speeches, you keep track of how long the person spoke.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. And at the end of the meeting, we'll ask you to report that.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
That's doable.
Okay, so timer will be Tiana. All right. Well, with a little bit of delay at the start, we are ready to proceed with our club meeting. Club business and announcements and upcoming events. I want to announce that this is August. Dues renewal is open. We would ask that all current members renew their dues by the end of September. You can do that directly with your credit card by going to the Toastmasters.org website. So our club has opened that possibility for all the members to renew the dues directly through Toastmasters website. We can do that because we don't charge any club dues, so you don't have to do it through the treasurer. But there's always that option. If you feel more comfortable sending a check using Cash App, if you don't want to use the Toastmaster website, you can still do it through the treasurer. Are there any other announcements? Okay, let's move forward then. We'll move forward in our agenda and move on to the word of the day. Toastmaster Hamilton.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, Karen Baird, and fellow Toastmasters. The word of the day is aplomb, and it's in your chat. It's a noun. It means calmness, confident composure, or self-assurance, and poise. An example in a sentence: we show great aplomb answering the table topics questions. Now we will note that using the word will be signaled by us giving an applause because we're growing our vocabulary. And that's one of the things that is the word of the day function. And I turn it back over to Table Topics Master Baird.
Thank you. For today's table topics, I'd like to ask people opinions on things where many people have very different kinds of opinions. So I'll give the question and then I will call on somebody to give their opinion. All right, and your opinion can be whatever you think or feel about this topic. No worries. All right, question number 1. Ghosts. Ghosts. What is your opinion about ghosts? And I'll go first to Toastmaster Moylan.
Thank you, Madam Topic Master. Fellow Toastmasters, my opinion on ghosts. Well, you can't see them, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. I think in many things of the supernatural is beyond our immediate comprehension, and we work simply to how do we come up with a plausible answer. Sometimes we speak with aplomb, on great alacrity about what we feel, but it isn't something that we can touch or feel, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If it gives people pleasure, if it gives people calmness, then I'd say believe in them. If it's something to be afraid of, we can learn to overcome our fears. But overall, I'd have to say, ghosts, you're with us, and we appreciate it very much that you keep your opinions to yourself. Madam Topic Master.
Thank you. So our next item of opinion. Oh boy, I have some really good questions here. What shows that a person has truly grown up? What shows that a person has truly grown up? And I will ask Toastmaster Tiana Washington to answer that question.
Okay, Toastmaster Karen, can you repeat that again, please?
What shows that a person has truly grown up?
What shows that a person has truly grown up? Well, I think that's one of the questions that all parents ask. What truly shows that a person or your son or daughter has grown up? So there are many things that may come across our minds. One might be they graduate from kindergarten, middle school, high school, and they go on to think about what might they want to pursue in their adult lives. They may decide to go to college or trade school, to the military, or just travel the world for adventure. We know that someone in our life has truly grown up when they can take care of themselves, have their own living space, make their own choices, and when we can believe that what we have given them allows them to make solid choices and that they understand that every choice they make has a consequence, either good or bad. So those are some of the things I think that show when someone is grown up.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Washington. Next question. Nature versus nurture. Nature versus nurture. What is the impact of the natural characteristics we are born with versus how we are raised in our experiences? What is the stronger influence? What's your opinion on those impacts? And I'll ask that question to Kimberly Baird Cooley.
Thank you very much for that interesting question. I just heard this fascinating theory about something called epigenetics. Now, I cannot call myself an expert by any means because I heard of it for the first time just a couple days ago. But what I learned was that the behavior of one's ancestors can affect the genetic expression of your DNA. For example, people whose ancestors have gone through some sort of a famine where when they had access to food, it was eat because it's feast or famine. Generations later, their descendants are more likely to have a difficult time losing weight because of the way that their genes became expressed through the generations because of the ancestors' experience. So I think it's a very interesting combination of both. I think it's not either or. I think it's way more complicated than we previously thought, but I'm fascinated to continue learning more as science advances. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. What is the value of college, of a college education? What is the value of a college education? And I'll ask that question to Toastmaster Dottie Hamilton.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Baird. Being an educator, I consider that very, very important. Now, I have an experience in which I did not start college until I was 32 years old. And the instance in which I wanted to start college was because my son was 16, and I started thinking about I wanted him to pursue higher education when he graduated from high school. Then I started thinking, I said, how can I talk to him about the value of a college education past high school if I have only gone to high school? So that encouraged me to be the best at all I could be. And I started college at 32. Now, in the pursuit of trying to make sure that my son understood the importance of academics, I put stress on myself and I carried a B plus average all 4 years as a grown woman, married with 3 children. So I know I demonstrated the importance of a college education. Statistics have always told us that a high school diploma doesn't get you very, very far unless you're in more of the trades. And so the importance of a college education has been stressed, especially down south with the African American descendants from slavery. They have expressed and talked to their children regarding go as far as you can go, be the best you can be, because you need to have education to be able to move in the upper strata. Thank you so much for allowing me to express the importance of a college education. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our last Toastmaster for a table topics question will be Toastmaster Wong. So I will give you a choice. You can have question number 2 or question number 4. Which one would you like?
You're not telling me what the question is?
Yeah, I'll tell you the question after you pick. Question number 2 or question number 4. Which one would you like?
Number 2, please.
Number 2? All right, number 2 is, tell us your opinion on UFOs, unidentified flying objects.
Okay, my opinion on UFOs. Okay, so I don't have many experience. When you first asked me this question, I don't have any idea of ever thought about this. I actually, it reminded me of a novel that I read before, not long ago. It's called Three Body, and it's really talking about aliens, like the other creature in the universe. And the book is really, it's a sci-fi novel book, but it's really profound in the way that it describes all the lives in the universe and anything about the universe. It's really it's written by a physics teacher, so I cannot understand the whole idea of the physics, but it's a really good story and make me think a lot about, are there life forms outside of Earth, and if there is anything. I actually, in my opinion, I am an atheist, but I do think, I don't believe in a certain God that's described by any religion, but I believe there is something that's beyond our understanding of our, small human mind. And I think this UFO is a similar thing. The universe is so huge, and there's got to be something out there. However, we just don't understand it. Our human life, we're born on this planet and we are formed in it's a lot of coincidence that we are what we are today. I think out there could be so many different coincidences, And you don't know, maybe a rock is a life, or something else can be alive that we just don't know that is alive, or they can have a civilization. And that's my opinion about alien entirely. And I think UFO, it can happen, but it's probably beyond our understanding.
Thank you. I want to appreciate everybody who spoke with great aplomb and really gave great thoughts and examples in your table topics responses. So now we're ready to move on to the prepared speech portion. Our speaker number one, distinguished Toastmaster Bill Moylan, is working on his persuasive influence. And part of the persuasive influence pathway is a project called Understanding Your Leadership Style. So let us welcome distinguished Toastmaster Bill Moylan as he discusses understanding your leadership style. Bill, please unmute. Oh.
I'll try this again just a moment. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. As a professorial leader, one has to wear many hats. And as I transitioned from being a lecturer and instructor, starting first at Lawrence Tech University back in the late 80s, until I started as an instructor at Eastern Michigan in 2002, I found it was speaking more than just with aplomb. We had to be a different type of instructor becoming a leader. The first, and that was the authoritative type of style. It really got to what I was measured on was instructional effectiveness. Now at Lawrence Tech, I was a subject matter expert in what I taught, construction engineering and project management. When I made the transition to Eastern Michigan on a full-time tenure track, well, I had the right smarts, didn't I? Not enough. At Eastern Michigan, as a professor, or someday one, I had to be able to address different types of learning styles of a very diverse student body. Now, yes, I still presented the materials, but I had to be authoritative enough to be able to change my presentation style. As Dr. Bill Liverman would say, a change in pedagogy. And I created my Dr. Bill rule number 1. You get the grade you earn. Yes, I presented the different material from the particular courses in different methods, but they still had to complete the course as required. Another type of leadership style I needed was being a coach. That was where, as a full-time professor, I had to get into advising, really directing towards career planning. And what I learned at Eastern Michigan, it was all about higher education, as in HIRE. We were preparing young people for careers. And so that also brought up my second Dr. Bill rule. Using the adage of Hank the Deuce, Henry Ford II, don't complain, don't explain. Every type of course requirement was a learning opportunity preparing you for a career in that particular field. Another type of leadership style was pace setting. This is where it required with an academic program accreditation. The outside reviewers wanted us to raise the bar in allowing us this outside scrutiny on what we were actually containing in our different academic programs. Rather a bit of scrutiny that many don't prefer. That's why they didn't go after accreditation. Well, being the hard-headed Irishman, they gave it to me, we did it. And so that leader of being a pace setter. Another, as I made this pursuit towards being a tenured professor, it was on research and scholarly activity. It required me to be innovative, of adding to the knowledge base of my field. 3 different major areas were my research: ethics, leadership, and project-based learning. I'll say this, when I started this journey towards the professor, I never thought I would be getting into these 3 topics. That's where one had to be a bit innovative. Another area is being the affiliative leader. Internally, that was providing service to my program, my department, the school, the college, the university. In addition, it was all service to my profession as a project management professional and as a professional engineer, and then to industry at large. In this sense, who we were really preparing the students for was industry. They were our true customer. The students, they were work in progress. So being that affiliative leader required me to really look out and reach out. Another area of being the type of leader as a professor was serving the needs of society. So community service and outreach, being that very altruistic type of leader, serving the needs of others without looking for any type of immediate compensation. Another area, democratic. At universities, we're open to growth and we listen to many voices, even when we disagree with them. This is where I came up with my important Dr. Bill rule number 3. In every course I taught, I told them there was an important course outcome. You are going to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a part of what a university experience is. You're not supposed to be coddled and comforted. That's what your parents do back at your home, or let's say at least in high school. Here, we're going to learn to be uncomfortable, and then how we can deal with these different issues. Now, bureaucratic. This is probably the most key things I can help students learn. How did you deal with the vast bureaucracy of a university? A definition: a university is a loose confederation of entrepreneurs held together by a common grievance over parking. Now, at EMU and every state institution, parking is definitely an issue. At Lawrence Tech, free parking. But the common grievance, it was printing. But getting through a bureaucracy, an important part of everyone's university education. So the professorial leader wears many, many hats. As an authoritative leader, to be an effective instructor. As a coaching leader, a career advisor to students. As a pace-setting leader, dealing with program accreditation as we raise the bar. An innovative leader in terms of our research and scholarly activity. An affiliative leader in terms of our service, both inside the university and outside. An altruistic leader, giving service to the community and society. A democratic leader, listening to many voices. And finally, that bureaucratic leader to effectively navigate academia. Yes, we must speak with aplomb at all these hats. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Moylan. Thank you. That was a very interesting and eye-opening speech. I did not know all those things about your background. And I want to ask you, do you see yourself as having made achievements in each one of those areas?
Well, yes, I've had to, I get measured on all of them too.
Yes, yes.
I'm not
I
gonna say
just-
how well I did in all of them, but yes, I have a footprint in each.
Yeah, it's great, great. And there's a difference between understanding a leadership style and being effective and, you know, achieving within it. So very good, thank you. Our next prepared speaker is Toastmaster Kimberly Baird Cooley. She's working on her humorous pathway. She has a 5 to 7 minute speech entitled, "Let Go Already." I hope this speech isn't about me. So let us welcome my daughter, Toastmaster Kimberly Baird Cooley.
You might not guess it by looking at me. I try and be easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, but I'm secretly a little bit of a control freak. Just a little, just a little. And despite my intrinsic nature to want to control everything and put it in a neat little box, I feel like it's my life's lesson that the universe keeps trying to teach me over and over and over again. But you can't do that. And you just gotta let go already. And I'm gonna tell you a couple stories because I think we can all learn to let go a little bit. Now, I come by it very naturally. Someone said that they hoped this wouldn't be about them, but I regret to inform you that it is, slightly. Now, when I was a child, I loved routine and consistency. And part of my routine and consistency would be watching the same movie over and over and over again because I loved it. And one of the movies that I loved to watch over and over and over was the movie Bambi. Bambi, the little fawn who has his little forest friends and he's so sweet. Well, I watched it so many times, I thought I knew that movie front and back. Imagine my surprise when 20-something years later, I'm having a conversation with my significant other and his father at that time. And they mentioned something about a fire in the movie Bambi. And I said, what are you talking about? There's no fire in Bambi. There's never, I've seen it so many times. Mind you, his father, a history of animation teacher. I'm arguing with him because I have to be in control of my experience. Well, he informs me that that is the major plot point of the opening scene. And so I'm recounting this to my family, and I learn that my mother had taken Bambi off of VHS and copied it onto Betamax and removed the forest fire scene because I was so sensitive as a child that I could not handle seeing Bambi's mother die. And so all those years, I thought that she just disappeared inexplicably, and I accepted that. And it rocked my world. I thought, what else has been outside of my control this whole time that I didn't know about? I couldn't believe it. So I get a little older, and my controlling nature has not changed. But now I'm an adult and I've got money, so it's time to buy a house. And I got in at a pretty good time, but not the best time. It was COVID, right at the very beginning. And the interest rates were low, 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 practically on the floor. So you can imagine houses are just going, 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 going. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that we looked at almost 40 houses, not because I was being picky, because everything was out of my control. Things were going before we could even drive to the listing that we had scheduled. And I was getting so fed up. I was so tired. I just wanted a house, and I started getting scared. Like, can I even afford this house? And it was getting to the point where I'd basically take anything. And so we got to this one showing, and it was dirty. disgusting. There was dirt in the kitchen. There was dirt on the floor, dust everywhere. And I thought to myself, what kind of person doesn't take some pride in their house and just clean it up a little bit? I mean, come on, I would never do that. My house would be perfect if I was the one selling it. So we go down into the basement to look down there, and I see something on the floor. And I look a little closer, and I just can't help myself. And I shout to everyone in the open house, there's poop. There's poop on the floor. There's poop on the floor, and I have to go. I can't believe it. There's poop on the floor. It was like every house, it was something. And I wanted to control it so bad. I just put in an offer, raise the offer, do whatever it takes to get a house. Because I had my mind made up. But the universe was trying to teach me a lesson. You can't control everything. You have to wait sometimes. And I ended up finding the perfect house for me and my family. It has a breezeway, which we built a chicken coop-like enclosure off of so my cats can go outside safely. It's got a big basement, beautiful yard. We have a huge garden. It's so nice. All I had to do was be patient, but I didn't want to. I wanted to control it. So I wanted that house right now. And I keep learning this lesson. I just keep learning it. You know that beautiful catio that I mentioned? My cats love being out there. They love it. They're so cute. They sit out there, they watch the birds. I can't control them for anything. You know how cats are. I can't control them to save my life. But they love being out there, and I don't mind. So one night, I'm getting ready, kind of putzing around, getting ready to go to bed, getting ready to close up the catio. And I see one of my cats bound in from outside, my little dust bunny. She's so cute. She's so happy, running around all crazy, getting a little zoomies. And I know something in her mouth, and I'm like, oh, she's playing with the new toys I bought her. Because I have to control what she plays with, of course, for her safety. And I thought it was one of the fluffy toys I bought her. But it wasn't a fluffy toy. And I noticed that the toy is actually moving around a little bit. And I hear her growling. The other cat comes near her. And then the toy is squiggling. And I realize it's a mouse. And I just start shrieking like a cartoon. I jump up on a chair. I was so embarrassed, even in the moment, at myself. I couldn't believe I reacted that way. And I'm yelling at my husband, get it. And the cat, Dust Bunny, she drops the mouse on the floor so she can chase it some more. She can have some more fun. So my husband goes to get the cup to catch the mouse, like I just told him to do. And he goes to catch the mouse, and I say, no, don't get it. Don't get it. You're going to ruin her self-esteem because you didn't let her catch it. Me trying to control things again. But he got it. He didn't listen to me. And I just keep learning this lesson over and over. You can't control everything. You just have to let go and accept what life throws at you. Because ultimately, I didn't want that mouse in my house. I didn't want the poop on the floor. I really didn't want to know that Bambi's mom died, and that worked out great for me. Sometimes letting go and losing control will make you so much happier. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kimberly. Let's move on to the evaluation portion of our meeting. So evaluation is so important because that's where we as evaluators would practice our listening skills and sharpen our skills and abilities to communicate feedback. Very key in all areas of life. So let's first go to Felice, our first evaluator. Toastmaster Wong, please submit your evaluation, oral evaluation of Toastmaster Moylan's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karen Baird. For Toastmaster Bill Moylan's speech, first off, I think it is a great speaking I liked the presentation that he's been talking in the speech about professional leader principles. He listed 8 different points in the presentation, and it's a lot of good information, useful information, and I can tell it is from your Bill, it's from your own experience, and it is from, you have thought about it and you have been presenting it very well. First off, I liked a lot of things in your presentation. As always, you have these nicely prepared slides that you always choose the picture that matches wisely with the words, and it looks very nice when watching it while listening to your speaking. And in the presentation, you are combining your own experience and those with your gesture and vocal variety, telling us stories about each of the points, how you come up with them, or how to explain the point. I think that is a really good thing to make it less boring. Otherwise, if we're just listing those points, it can be a boring topic with so many points and big words in your presentation. And also, I like the cadence in your speaking. You're keeping it long enough to explain what you mean, but then you're not making it too long, because you have there are actually a lot of 8 points I counted, so you have to finish them within a reasonable time. And then the final summary is also really good. And as always, I like your aplomb speaking style. It's been always a really enjoyable to listen to. I don't really have anything that I think you should be improving, and just a little bit, if you really want to challenge yourself and become a even more excellent speaker, I think one thing I can think of at this time, I would think if in your storytelling, one of the story, maybe you can add a little more twist in the story, or something that surprises or make people laugh, or something that makes us to have a up and down feeling in your speaking, and that would make it even more attracting to people. But I think it is already very good as it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Felice. And I want to applaud Toastmaster Wong on her first evaluation. Good job. Nicely done. Now it is my pleasure to evaluate Toastmaster Kimberly Baird Cooley's speech. Kimberly, oh my gosh, you were making me choke and cry with your stories. Now, in a throwback to Toastmaster Moylan's table topic, maybe that was because I was, just wanting to cherish you as my child. But you were so, I thought, so incredibly humorous, which was the goal of your speech. You told us some incredibly humorous stories. And I loved the gestures and the facial expressions, which I feel greatly enhanced your stories. You used facial expressions, vocal variety, hand gestures, all used in concert to express the humor of those situations. I love the surprised looks on your face, the eyebrows, the use of eyebrows, very expressive. I thought that your speech was very well organized. It's a struggle for me to come up with something to say that would be something you could improve upon in your speech. So I'm going to say maybe sometimes a story, less is more. So maybe just tighten up a little bit so that there aren't as many details and the shock just hits you that much harder, that much faster. So if I was to say to improve something, that would be the thing that I think could be tightened, could be improved. A little, think of it as like a sucker punch. They don't even see it coming and boom. There's your surprise and humor. So overall, very good speech. And of course, I appreciate you bringing me. And I was only trying to keep you from being upset. Geez, I did my best. All right, let's move on now to the table topics evaluation, which will be presented by Toastmaster Cooley, Kimberly Baird Cooley.
Thank you. We had our table topics theme of opinions. Toastmaster Moylan spoke about his opinion on ghosts. And even though we couldn't see them, it doesn't mean they don't exist. I liked that you used the word of the day in your table topic. That was great. And you gave us two different ways to think about ghosts. If they give people the idea of ghosts gives them pleasure or calmness, then that's great. And if it's scary, then sayonara, we don't need them. So I thought that that was lovely. And I liked that you acknowledged that we don't always know what we don't know. So great job. Tiana, Toastmaster Washington, talked about what shows that a person has grown up, and spoke to the fact that that's a universal question that all parents ask. You talked about milestones like graduations, traveling, military career. I think your main point was that people are grown up when they were able to make their own choices and recognize that each choice has consequences. And excuse me. And that was a really good point to make. I agree with you. I spoke about nature or nurture. Toastmaster Hamilton, who I see she had to hop off, talked about the value of college and shared her story about how she did not start college until she was 32 because she wanted to be an example to her son to show the the value of a college education. She wanted him to go to college. She also talked about, from a community perspective, how important it is in the African American community to achieve those higher levels of education. And I appreciated the cultural tie-in. And we have Leslie Felice talked about her opinion on UFOs. You started off saying that you don't have experience with UFOs and you haven't thought about it before, but you very quickly tied it into a novel that you'd read that was very relevant to the topic. I thought that was a great pivot. Good job. And I really appreciated hearing your perspective. So I thought everyone did great.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cooley.
Can I chime in just to quickly ask, what is the question number 4 in the table topics?
Okay, let me see. Question number 4. What were the, in your opinion, what are the pros and cons of new tech, especially AI?
Oh, okay.
So you missed out on that question, but you never know. It might come back at some time in the future.
Okay, good. Thank you.
May I just share one request of Bill Moylan's, or like feedback for Bill? I prefer when you use that feature in Zoom that inserts your, like puts you in the slide, because the Zoom update, the way that it is now, it makes it hard to see the speaker and the screen share. I don't think that was a problem before, but I prefer when you insert yourself because I'm able to see you better.
All right, along that line, I would like Bill to do share his screen again, and then I'm going to highlight the speaker, and we'll see how that looks. Spotlight the speaker is what I mean to say.
Which way do you want me to do it?
I want you
Show
to
my screen, or
I want you to share your screen, whichever way you did it before.
sure. Okay.
I've spotlighted you, so I just want to see how it looks now. Because while you were speaking, I thought maybe I should spotlight you, but I didn't want to mess up the presentation without having tried it before.
I did it this way.
Okay, how does that appear to you, Kimberly?
Well, now I can see Bill, and he's small on the right side of my screen, but I can only see Bill.
Can you
Okay.
still see the presentation?
Yeah, what I see is the presentation is the largest part of the screen, and then Bill's like a teeny tiny little square on the right-hand side.
Is there a little separator button that you can drag left and right to make either side bigger or smaller?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. I was just wondering how it would present itself. Okay, thank you. Well, but that is a good suggestion if possible. When we share, if we can insert ourselves into the shared.
Well, can I comment on that?
Mhm.
I hear what you're saying, Kim, because I intentionally used what I did so I could see my script. Is when you use that, where you put it in front of yourself, all you can see is the screen. You can't see any script.
Oh.
And this one, I had a whole lot of notes on that. I could not remember all those points, and it was
That
still,
makes sense.
yes. And so, but what it shows though is people want to see the speaker and the presentation. So it takes a bit. I mean, I was also fumbling with that. One of the things I learned is one must first unmute yourself and then share your screen. Because I shared my screen, and wait a minute, where's the button? I can't find it. I can see you guys. I know I'm supposed to unmute myself. So you see, that's one of those things of Zoom that can get to you. So
Yes.
live and learn.
Speaking of, I mean, it's a technology that they keep updating, and then when they do it, I don't know where my record button went and so forth. So, yeah, constantly evolving and moving forward. Just like everything else we can't control, Kim. All right, let's move on to the reporting part of our meeting. I'll ask Bill to give us the counter report.
And thank you, General Evaluator Karen. Running down in no particular order. First for Dottie. She was flawless on her word of the day on a plume, but when she did her table topic, it's not incorrect. She spoke using the passive voice. When she said, "My son motivated my pursuit of college education," she could have said, using the active voice, "My son motivated me to pursue a college education." It's just different between active and passive. Karen, you were flawless in your table topics and also as Toastmaster, knowing your evaluation. And I totally understand the emotion of when you are evaluating your precious daughter. But you did say, making me cry. And so it was a little bit of a restart. The other is you had the Xerox overall. So those pieces on that.
You know, I'm getting worse on that, Bill. I've noticed that I'm doing that more instead of less.
Okay.
So if you have any advice on how I can, stop myself from doing that, I would appreciate hearing it.
I guess I would say is that when you get to in conclusion or overall, you say that, take a breath, and then speak. I found that I didn't have any ums or ahs, but I was fumbling in my transitions. Felice, I really appreciate your evaluation, like putting in some little twister piece. I still felt, and reason why I was using the script, I still had too much. I could have just used here is this particular leadership type. Here's a quick example. I didn't have to add so much to it. Tiana, you were flawless in your in your table topic. Kimberly, when you were in your table topic, you noted, again, it's not incorrect, but I've gone through some sort of famine. I would have preferred people who experienced a famine is more correct. On your speech, you had, and you used it once where you said over and over and over. It's not incorrect. But if you were to use that again, you could say repeatedly, just to break it up. I did like your phrase of rack my world. Then when you came to the conclusion, or at the point where you had a home for me and my family, it should be my family and I. Some others, when your husband caught the mouse and you said he got it. And I wasn't sure if he caught it or if he understood not to catch it. So you could have used he caught it as opposed to he got it, meaning he got my meaning. Your evaluation was flawless. Felice, in your table topic, you had a variety of filler words. And again, they're not incorrect. And I believe they're part of your generation that uses like, okay, actually. Those seem to be that, what is it? Gen X that uses those as filler words. And you also had a Xerox where you repeated it. It can and it can't on that. On the evaluation, I didn't see any misspeaks on that. Now, back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Moylan. I really appreciate how carefully you listen and how you're able to motivate with your feedback. For our final report, I will ask Tiana to unmute yourself and give us a timer's report for how long each person spoke.
Hi, fellow Toastmasters. The time for opinions by our Toastmasters, Toastmaster Moylan. I said, Toastmaster Moylan. Your opinion came in at 46 seconds. Then we have nature versus nurture. That was Kim. You came in at 15 seconds. Value of a college education. That was Dottie. She came in at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Police. Opinion on YouTube. UFOs. You came in at 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And then for the prepared speech, Bill, you came in at 7 minutes and 37 seconds. And Kim, you came in at 7 minutes and 55 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you so much. All right, that wraps up our agenda items. So now I would like to open the floor and ask if there are any comments or questions from the members.
Yes. I'm showing my screen right now. Can everyone see this where it has the MetroMasters DCP plan? It's being updated.
Mhm.
Did complete my third speech at level 2, so we have that. So Kimberly, we're looking you to complete your level 2 on persuasive influence, but you're on effective engaging humor. That was the 3.
Yeah, I'm on engaging humor,
Very
but
good.
I can do another one if you want me to.
No, you're fine. I'm just
Okay.
I'll be sending this out. Just make sure correct to make sure I've got the right pieces on it. I also added this particular part. You can see where for today, both for 8:13, both Kimberly and I were speaking, and we'll use this to kind of track progress across with it. And I've added the pathways path and then the goals.
Mhm.
And so please check my work, make sure I have that. And then Tiana, we can include your particular path that you choose afterwards, and I can take you through the process for that.
Very good, thank
Now,
you.
I do have just a general question. Is this helpful to the members, or should it just go to the club officers? Anyone?
I like seeing it because it shows us, I think it's motivational to others to see the progress that everyone's making. And I think it helps other people to, like, for instance, maybe Tiana will say, wow, I want to get on a path and get started and start getting my check boxes checked. So I don't know that she thinks that, but I'm thinking she might. And
Okay,
I think the officers will definitely enjoy seeing this during the meeting because I think it helps us stay focused as well.
Very good.
Any other opinions?
I like it.
Yeah, it works for me.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, it does make me feel like I want to get the boxes checked.
Great. All right. I don't have any more announcements. Oh, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to make this announcement, but unfortunately, we missed out on the second round of officer training. So Kimberly and I are going to take a side meeting, and I'll give her one-on-one training. We won't get credit for it as far as a DCP point, but I will transition. Since we missed the training, we're kind of waiting for that, but we'll just do it one-on-one, and then I'll transition everything over to her for the role of treasurer. So Kimberly will be taking you forward in making sure that all the dues are paid for the next 6 months, which again are due by the end of September. $60. All right. Then let's look forward to our next meeting and discuss roles that people may want to fill for our next meeting agenda. And so I'll just go around and ask based on what position I see you on in the screen. Oh, wait a minute. Bill's ahead of me. Go ahead, Bill.
You speak, I'll listen.
Okay. Is there any, okay, let me just ask then on a one-by-one basis. Kimberly, is there a role you would like to fill?
Sorry. I could do an evaluation. I can do anything really.
Well, you said evaluation first, so that's where we're going to land you. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, Felice, is there a role you would like to fill for next meeting?
I want to do timer.
Timer. All right, do you, just to keep on track, you said you'd like to do another speech and get checkbox. So do you have a time frame in mind for that?
I need to check the pathway that I am taking right now. I haven't been check on that.
Okay,
Let me check on that and let you know.
okay. If not next meeting, maybe the meeting after that, going into September.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we can always plan ahead. Tiana.
I will try my hand at being an evaluator.
Now, if I can be presumptuous, Tiana, I would really like to hear you do your icebreaker speech. Do you think that the next time we meet 2 weeks from tonight, you could do your icebreaker?
Icebreaker speech.
Yes, icebreaker speech would be the first speech where you sort of introduce yourself, tell us about yourself.
And Tiana, just remember, you've been working on the speech your whole life.
Yeah.
You just tell us about Tiana,
Yeah.
however you want to introduce yourself to the club.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Very good.
All right, great. Thank you, Tiana. Toastmaster Moylan.
I'll be the topic master.
Jelena, is there something that you would like to do? Or do you just want to hold off and wait and see how you're feeling?
I have a speech ready.
Your speech, great. Okay. So that leaves me, let's see, we've got an evaluator, we've got at least one speaker, table topics. All right, I'll sign up for Toastmaster of the Day. I'm willing to swap that out with somebody else if they want to be Toastmaster of the Day. And I'm going to sign up Dottie for Word. So we'll go with that for now. And if there are any changes between now and 2 weeks, then that will be noted on the agenda. Let's see. So our next meeting is the 27th, Tuesday, the 27th. Are there any other questions or comments before I close the meeting?
And Tiana, I will send you call it the icebreaker project.
Okay.
It's you can get to that, work through that, and then we can work on your particular path next time. I mean, the level 1 are the same speeches for all paths, so you're
Okay.
not losing any ground here, but we
Okay.
can be doing that. And I will send out then this agenda for next meeting immediately.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
So then you will send out, just to clarify, you will send out the agenda for next meeting, and
Yeah.
then you will send out to me in essence a template or directions on how to do the icebreaker
Exactly.
speech.
Yeah.
Okay, then after that, we'll discuss pathway once that's done at the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay,
Give
got
you
it.
a taste of what you're getting into.
Okay.
Tiana, I don't know if I've already sent you this or not. I have some orientation videos. I know I sent those to Felice when she first joined. I'm going to send you links to the orientation videos and those videos highlight what we do at the meeting. It highlights pathways and how to sign up for pathways, and highlights resources that are available to us as members.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm looking in my folder I have for Toastmasters, and I don't see
Okay, I'll send that.
any of those.
In fact, what I'll do is I'll send that out to you, but I'll just copy the other club members in case they
Okay.
want to see them too, or review them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you. And with that, I officially close the meeting with 1 minute to spare from our designed time. So thank you for attending. The meeting is now closed. And with that, I am going to stop recording.